Welcome to Shh, Tell Me Everything. Okay, welcome everyone today. I am so excited. I shouldn't say that this is my favorite guest ever that I have been waiting to meet with, but it might be. We have the wonderful privilege of being with my dear friend, Donna Miner, today, who, if you've ever met Donna, you would never forget Donna. She is just one of the best people ever. And really, the type of person that changes the feeling of the room when she walks into it. Like and I know that makes it sound really simple, and I don't mean to oversimplify, but where Donna goes, there is this spirit and aura, what do you call it, that goes with her. And that is something that has made all the difference to me. So I am so excited to be here with Donna and to invite her to share with us um, something that has made all the difference to her. But before you teach us your secret, Donna, just tell us a little bit more about yourself. We would just love to hear a
Well,
little bit.
first, I want to thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast. And I could say the same about you. Like I look at you and I just think, it's Kristy. There's Kristy. And you've just got this
Like,
light and you're
we're
always
having a
just
good
so
time.
happy, especially happy to do taxes. And it's just amazing. I
Who'd have thought,
know.
right? Crazy.
A little bit about me. I was born in California, moved here when I was in the third grade, but travel back to California very frequently because I'm a beach baby and I love sitting at the ocean and breathing.
And say you talk about the beach
Yes.
all the time, the beach. The
I
beach is
love
the
it. It's my
happy
happy
place,
place.
yeah.
My husband and I have been married for 25 years. I have 3 beautiful kids, 2 grandbabies, and 1 on the way.
And she's an excellent singer, so if you have a really great lobby at your building, you might wanna invite Donna over just to practice the national anthem in that lobby because the echo sounds so good, so one of her many talents. Mhm. Okay, Donna, let's just get to it. I'm so excited. So, I've asked you to just pick one because there's many things that you could teach us, I'm sure, but I would love if you would just share one thing in your life that has made all of the difference. What is something that really has just made the difference? And it can be related to work or business or home or family or mindset. I don't care. Like, what is just something that has made all the difference for you?
Okay, that's a tough one because I feel like I've learned so much from mentors throughout my life, but if I had to pick just one, I would say it's love them anyway. It's just love people.
Okay, so then I want to hear a
Okay.
little bit about it. So I want to hear, tell me how you came to this. You know what I mean? And like, how have you seen it in your life?
So, when we moved here from California, and I was in the 3rd grade, and we lived in a subdivision, a lot of kids my age, right? And what I wasn't a member of the yeah, thank
Predominant
you.
faith,
Thank you. I was like,
right?
I don't know exactly how to put this.
Not the
Yes,
culture. We're gonna say outside the
yes.
culture. Yeah, the predominant
And
culture.
and some families didn't like that. Some kids were not the nicest. I would never say that I was bullied or anything like that. I just feel like kids are kids, right? But I do remember one
Yeah.
particular time my feelings were hurt and going to my dad, and he looked at me and he said, "Mijita," which is an affectionate term for my little girl in Spanish. He said, "Love him anyway." And so I don't know if that just resonated to my core from my dad, or part of me feels like God just gave me this gift to just love people.
Yeah.
And so, along with that, I have learned that when you love people and you truly love them, you look to see the good in them, right? And when you look for it, you see it, you find it. You're going to find it, and everyone's
Yeah.
got it. And so, it takes a lot to upset me. I find myself getting curious first, like, I wonder what that was about. But I think really
Mhm.
just truly, genuinely loving people, wanting the best for them, and always being intentional about showing up that way. I think that makes sense.
Like, what do you mean? Like, how do you do that?
Well, for me, I do have faith in God. I believe in God. I have a morning routine. A lot of it is prayer and gratitude. And I feel like first the love has to be in your heart before you can show it or
Yeah.
give it or receive it, right? Like, and so when I meet with people, I just quietly, I heard this, I can't remember where I heard it, but I think it might have been The Greatest Salesman in the World. Og Mandino wrote that book. And I think there was one of them when you see somebody, just in your mind, say, I love you. Like, just let them and hope that they feel it. And I'm a hugger. I hug everybody. And when I hug everybody in my brain, I say, I love you.
And it comes across genuine, like, it really does. Like, this like, everybody thinks you
Love
love
them
them.
too.
Like, we like, you be in a group with all these people, we all think that we're Donna's favorite, that Donna loves us, like,
But I do.
we
Like,
feel it, yeah.
that's why I said I'm not, I don't know if it's like
Yeah,
between my dad and I do, I really feel like I have that. I'm gonna call it a gift from God. Like, it's just so much, it's easier for
yeah.
me. It's easy for me to love people. It's just
And so, was your dad like that too, or where do you think that came from him?
my dad. I'm so glad you asked about him because he's my favorite person to talk about. He was born in
Oh,
1917.
perfect.
He was a World War II infantry rifleman, grew up during the Depression, right? He part
Follow
of
me,
that
it's
greatest
crazy. Mhm.
generation ever, right? So my dad was very strict and very stern, but very loving. And I always tell people he mentored me, he didn't coddle me.
Mm,
Because at the times when I thought he was just gonna, if something would happen in my life and you go to your dad and he's gonna hug you and he's gonna make you feel better. It's okay.
they were mean to
Exactly.
me,
And
yeah.
he did the opposite. He would basically used it as an opportunity to teach me a lesson, which at the time I didn't get because it didn't feel very warm and fuzzy. But looking
Yeah.
back now, I learned so much from him. So many lessons. Love him anyway. That was just one of them.
Okay, so then tell me how this has played out a little bit more, because that was you as a kid. So where did you see this further in your life as you kept going, that it made a difference?
Well, gosh, in every area. I was married and divorced. And when you have kids, love
Love
them
them
anyway.
anyway, yeah.
Love them, love you. Yeah, like that. I'm in sales. I've been in sales for 29 years with older public
Oh.
title. And when you're in sales, sometimes people aren't the nicest to you and they think you want something from them, even though
Mhm,
I
mhm.
want to serve. But I don't know. And it's so fascinating because when I think about my life, I think that I have just somehow been put in places to encourage other people to use that in their lives. For me, it's just an easy. I don't know if you can see it, or can you see that on the wall right there? It says
I
love them
can't read I
anyway.
see the writing, but I can't read it. Oh, it doesn't really? Okay.
I, I
You'll
saw
have
that
to
somewhere and I
remember
was like,
it.
oh, I need
Oh.
that.
Like, you bought that, you
No,
didn't make
I
that,
found it.
you found it,
Yep,
okay.
I bought it. And just a good reminder. This world is can be harsh and hard and hard things happen to us every day. And I think if we can just wake up and have and feel and share love, that just makes it easier, better.
How do you Okay, and I've met at least one of your kids. I'm trying to think who else I've met. I've met your parents back in the day, back in the day. But, okay, tell me about your family and your kids, and how did you help to teach them this? Because you do naturally have it. Like, this is something that, whether learned or not, has become very natural. Was it natural for your children? Or how did you then try to teach this thing one more generation to them?
I think I'm still trying to teach him that.
Yeah.
I have a daughter who's 33 and she has a 9-year-old granddaughter, and she's the one that's due in January. That's
We'll
Erica.
we'll send her the link to this, don't worry. So,
But they
there we go. Oh,
but
due
I
in January,
do,
yay.
and then Marcus, who's 31, and he has my 3-month-old grandbaby, and then Samuel, who
Yes.
is
Oh.
21. When I think about my kids, they might not say it, and they might not talk about it,
Yeah,
but I look at them, and they're such good little humans.
good. Yeah. Well, think about that's like with your dad, it's like, maybe what he was saying and what it actually was,
Yep.
it didn't look the same, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell from what he was actually
Right.
doing,
Right.
more than just the
So
words.
and I'm just the mom. Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you do a good job at that, because that's tricky too, of letting people be their own people.
Well,
And maybe that's part of loving, and you don't love them anyway, is also maybe let them be who they are a
oh,
little bit.
absolutely. My daughter taught me that. Can I tell you a story really fast about Erica? She was
Oh,
like
I'd love
16 years
please,
old, and I
tell me
don't
the
know, we
story.
were just having a brawl. We were not very happy with each other. I think we were probably yelling at each other.
Uh-huh.
Then she
Yeah,
looked at
sounds about
me
right.
and she
Okay.
said, "One day you're gonna realize the things that make you happy don't make me happy." And I, Christy, had to
Hmm,
just stop
hmm.
and just say, "You know what? You're right. Now just go to your room."
Yeah, I'm gonna need a decade to think about that one, but it's
And I
okay.
was like,
Like,
"Wow."
hmm, yeah. Well, and how much time and effort we spend trying to apply the same box to somebody else, you know what I mean, or the same things, and it's so much work and it's so frustrating when in the end, like, what is gonna make them happy is maybe not the same things that were gonna make
Right.
me
And what do we
happy.
want? At the end of the day, we just want them to be happy. When you
Yeah,
love someone, you want them to be happy.
yeah.
And so that was, I don't know. I could go off on 59 tangents here. I think we learned something
Okay, have
from
you
everyone.
I love all the tangents. Okay, I don't know if you're listening to or reading the book Crucial Conversations. That's one that I think we're gonna go to lunch in a
Oh,
little while with Melissa, she recommended. Have
I
you ever listened to that one
haven't,
or
but
read that
it
one?
sounds amazing.
It is, okay. I'm listening to it right now, and it's, like okay, for me, I'm gonna say top 5 books of changing my life, which also indicates that I need to learn how to have crucial conversations, and so that's why it's so useful to me. Part of a lot of it talked about trying to separate out what you actually want in
Mm,
this conversation. So, like, somebody like the daughter says something hard, you know what I mean, that maybe you don't agree with or wanna hear, and, like, stopping and from being just right or my ideas or my perspective or my view on this to what do we actually want in the end? And then maybe the rest of the stuff doesn't actually matter. What do I actually want? I do want my daughter to know that I love her and I wanna be in her life
mhm.
and help support her in good things, and maybe those aren't the same good things that I would choose, you
Well, it was
know?
the same for me
Mm.
with my mom. So,
Yeah, what was
there's
that like? Were you very
no, I
rebellious?
just no,
No.
I don't have a lot of big story. I've had a lot of stories, all this stuff that I did. I was actually a really good kid, but well, that's a whole other thing. But we are just different people, and different things
Yeah,
made me happy
yep.
that I think a lot of times she didn't understand. I sang in a band of ours, and I don't think she really liked that.
Oh, yep, okay. What would
Yeah.
she rather you were in the choir?
Which when I was younger,
Yeah,
I did that too.
yeah.
I was our music leader at church. I played the piano,
Oh, see?
but yeah, she really liked that. And it was and it fed my soul. I
Yeah.
got to sing. So it really did make me happy. I loved it.
Do you have many opportunities to
Not like
sing
I used to.
now?
So it's been, I think, like 7 years since I was in the band on and off for 20 years, like on and off and on and off. But no, not really like weddings, funerals. I get asked to sing at funerals. Sometimes people have me sing the national anthem at like different events. So I've done, I think the only event I haven't auditioned or done it at was the jazz game, but I've done all the other sporting venues or soccer. I haven't done soccer. But so no, I don't. As a matter of fact, it's so funny you said that. The other night I was here by myself and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm going through on YouTube finding karaoke versions of different songs and just singing at the top of my lungs
Oh, I
by
love it.
myself. No one needs
Well,
to be around. It's okay.
that is so no, we were up in the mountains this weekend with our extended family, and we had our little speaker and our little
I
microphone,
love
and
it.
we just karaoke'd. We did campfire karaoke, and it was hilarious
That's
and so
awesome.
fun, and some people dropped off, and the others of us kept going strong for hours, and it was just it was
Yeah.
magical. Okay, so we have a little bit of time, so I really have learned so much. So, Donna, I would also invite you share some more with us because and this is like when I explained to you earlier, it's like, well, what's made all the difference? It might be like that saying that's on your wall, that thing that you want them to put on your headstone, that one thing that you're constantly checking yourself with to remind yourself with. So I would love to know any other tips and tricks that you
Oh
have.
my gosh. So I love this so much because I really this a couple of things. So my dad, I'm gonna tell you another story about my dad because it was a love me anyway, right? Then I
Yeah.
remember being in our neighborhood and kids all my age. Gina lived on one side, Lola lived on the other. Gina asked Lola to spend the night, and she didn't ask me. I think I must have been like in fourth grade or something. And, and my
That's
feelings were
painful.
hurt,
That's
right?
brutal. Yeah.
So I don't know what I. It's so funny, and all the lessons my dad taught me, I don't ever really remember. I remember the feeling, and not really what I said, but I remember everything that he said. But I remember I
Hmm.
obviously told him about it and my feelings were hurt. And he looked at me and he said, "Do you think that when Gina woke up this morning, her goal was to hurt your feelings?" And I said, "No." You know what he said to me? Again, remember, mentor, not coddle. Then get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it.
And get
And if you
over
can't
it.
get over it, go have a conversation with her. Maybe you'll learn something.
Who to you as the fourth grader.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
what?
Yep. I love that. Do you think she actually woke up this morning
Her
trying to
goal when
hurt your
she woke up this
feelings?
morning. Do you think her goal
What's her
was to
goal?
hurt your feelings? I'm like, no, get over it. So he
And get
basically
over it.
taught me
Yep.
about like if that wasn't someone's intention, then don't make it be.
Yep.
So that was another thing that like I think about a lot. Like if my feelings get hurt, like was that intentional? And then be curious. Like I had be
Mm,
curious written on my bathroom mirror along with Outlast the Temporary. Because I think when we get curious about someone's behavior, like we automatically, if we're upset, like if it's a confrontation, then we're
mhm,
automatically that energy is diffused. We try to get more understanding and problem solve mindset than defensive, if that makes sense.
mhm,
So
mhm, yep.
just get curious.
So that reminds me, I had a meeting with one of the employees on my staff and recently, and they had something we needed to talk about, and she's like, "Well, I don't," they said, "I don't wanna complain," and I said, "Well, don't think of it as a complaint." I said, "When something like that happened," I said, "just say, 'Kristy, something really interesting happened today,' and then just tell me that interesting thing that happened." Like, it doesn't have to come across just like a complaint. You're like, "Oh, so and so did this, and this was awful." I was like, "Well, let's
Mhm,
be curious. This was very interesting." And then we can open up that discussion versus thinking that, "Oh, no, I'm complaining," or no, let's
mhm, I
be
love that.
interested, be curious. Something interesting happened today.
Well, and
Okay,
it gives
yeah.
you the opportunity to show up for someone that might need someone to show up for them. Like, we don't know what's going on in someone's life,
Yes.
and if we assume, like, a defensive attitude or mindset or energy, why would we do that when we could just be curious and maybe just say, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I I know you didn't really mean that,
Well,
or I
this
know
is
you didn't." I don't know. I think give people grace.
yeah. Well, and that's like it's something that, like, Jared, my husband, and I have talked about a bunch. Well, obviously, in a marriage, like, to not jump to conclusions or to not
Mhm.
assume the bad intent, and I've said to him recently and probably forever, I very rarely like, I'm not gonna intentionally hurt you and plan to make something
Mhm.
awful for you. Can I be careless? Yes, I can be careless, and I just didn't even think about that, and that was not nice because I just was careless about it. But it's not the same as I woke up this morning and thought, "How can I
Right.
hurt you, and how can I make your life miserable?" And I do wanna know when I've been careless, eek, but it's not
Mhm.
the same intention. And trying to apply that to other people too, like your dad said, like, they probably didn't
Yeah.
wake up with their goal to
Yeah.
hurt me today. Could they have been a little careless? Yeah, probably, but it's
Yeah.
not the same. Yeah, and not as heavy to carry around with you thinking that, "Oh, those girls hate me, and now they're having fun
Right.
without me," and
Right.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. But he oh my gosh, do we have time? I have one more. And this is like
Yes.
this
Oh, I
is
wanna
so I my ex-husband, we got divorced when I was 27 years old, and I had 2 and a 4-year-old, and it was us against the
mm,
world. We were amazing. But I after a while, I started dating and met someone who was everything. Like, whoa, it was just we knew we were gonna get married. He lived with us for 8 months, and then out of the blue, like, he just ended it. It seemed out of the blue. We didn't really
oh,
fight or
wow.
anything. He had money, I had credit. He wanted to start a contracting business. We bought a truck with my credit and his money. So when he ended it, I had to get the truck back, right? Truck was in my name. So the day he dropped off
Yeah.
the truck, I lived in a house with a big picture window. I went home at lunchtime because I knew he was bringing it back, put the key under the mat, got in his buddy's car and drove away. And I'm devastated. I am just sobbing, right?
Oh,
It
this is
was
painful to s
and I see my dad pull up in his yellow little Toyota Corolla because my dad would always just show up, and he walked in, and I am sobbing, and he knew this person I was dating didn't have, like, the best childhood. So, he walked in, he's like, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "So and so just left, he broke up with me," like, and I was devastated. You know what he said to me? "Oh, yeah, quit crying. This isn't about this isn't
get over
about
it.
you." No, this is what he
Oh,
said, "This isn't about you.
no.
This is about the time that he got to spend with
Mm,
a family that loved him, that believed in him, that showed him God's love. This isn't about you, it's about what he's driving away with." What?
mm. These lessons are like 1,000 years, away. I mean, like, these are, like, so
He was
advanced.
so wise. I learned
Yeah.
there's so many I have so many stories like that, but I just feel like I'm the most blessed person in the world that I and my mom taught me lessons too, like, it's just yeah, it's not about you. Okay. It's okay.
Not about you. And not just in the sense of, like, stop complaining, it's not about you. It's like, this was part of this person's experience and the wonderful things that they were able to take, and then it, like, makes you an active player of, like, am I contributing to this person's experience so that when it is over, they took something good with them, even if I didn't get the ending that I wanted? Did I leave a path of goodness, you know what I mean, that went with them anyway?
Right? Like, "It's quit crying, it's not about you."
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure he hugged me. Like, I'm
Okay.
sure he hugged me, right? I'm sure I just don't remember I just remember his words and thinking, "Kick me while I'm down."
Oh my gosh, right? Oh, so how long did it take you to, like, synthesize this and realize that this is actually really wise and wonderful and a loving thing to have said to
I
you?
don't even so my dad passed away in 2010, and that was
Also, I
mhm.
didn't ever meet your dad. I
Yeah,
only ever met your mom.
this happened in
Okay.
1997, and he passed away in 2010.
Okay.
Is it just crazy that I didn't recall all these things and put all these things together in my head until after he was gone? Yeah,
Interesting,
and I
right?
don't know if it's because now my kids are growing up and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I get what
It's not
he's
about you. Yeah.
like,
I
what
get what
wisdom,
dad was saying.
right?" And
Yeah.
it's so fascinating because I've shared so many of my dad's stories with people. I had started writing a book, I haven't finished, but because I just you know how you just think that people think like you?
Yeah.
Right,
Well, you don't know any different.
right,
Aren't we
right.
all the
So
same?
some of these
Yeah.
stories I've shared with people, and I'm like, I don't know, I was thinking about writing a book, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Donna, those are great lessons. Like, why wouldn't you share?" Well,
Lessons, like, really deep, but
they
really
were
impactful.
painful.
Yeah.
They were painful lessons,
Painful
let me
and
tell you.
painful, right?
But that was him. He was a tough World War II infantry rifle, like, he was a tough man, and yep, I yep, he mentored me. He didn't coddle me.
Well, I'm looking forward to the book one day. Like, I would love all of the
Well,
lessons
there
from
are some
dad.
pieces
Like,
that I do have, and I'm co-authoring a book series. It's called The Book of Mentors with I think like I want to see 23 or 32 other authors. Some our parts are just very small little chapters, like honoring Zig Ziglar, Wayne Dyer,
mhm,
Bob Proctor, and Jim
so
Rohn. And so I do write a
s
little bit about pardon
so
me?
when is oh, cool. So
So
when
the
is this?
first
When is
one's
this
out
happening?
already. It's called The Book of Mentors. Book 1 is out. We're finished with all of them, but they're not out yet. So we're supposed to have some kind of a book signing
Yeah.
in Salt Lake. So I don't know when, but the first one is out and you can get it on Amazon. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be fully
Okay.
transparent with you. They helped because I've never written a book. When I was asked to be a part of this, I'm like, what? And I'm like, ooh, if I can get a sneak tiny bits of Henry and my mom in there, that'd be great.
Mhm.
Plus, I just got licensed as a life coach. So I'm like, okay, credibility. Like I want to build my
Yep.
but the first
Yep.
two, because my schedule's so busy that they ghost wrote for me. Like we just had conversations. They were
Mhm.
the last two. So the one
Yeah.
on Wayne Dyer and Jim Rohn, I actually wrote myself, like all by myself.
Okay,
So,
Donna. Okay, we're gonna
but
read these.
yeah,
Yay.
there you go. I
That's
have been able to write a
that's
little bit
exciting.
about
Okay, well,
my
that's
parents.
'cause it's just, like, oozing with wisdom, like and again, those concepts, like, "Yeah, I probably need a decade to think about that one. Let me just give me a decade to think about it because
Yeah, let
it's
my heart
deeper."
heal first.
Yeah,
Then I'll think about that.
how about could you bring over some ice cream and then we can talk about it?
I'm gonna need just a minute, Dad.
It's not about you. Ooh, because I know I need that. I need another give me another 50 years of trying to gain some wisdom before I can actually
Well, what's
accept
crazy
it
about
that
that
quick.
story is he actually reached out to me like 16 years later, which was I don't know how many years ago, and
Wow.
asked me about my parents. And my mom was an assistant. She hadn't passed away yet. She was in assisted living. But then when he asked me about my dad, I told him he passed away and he got teary-eyed and he said to and I
Funny.
he's like, your family changed my life. And I, of course, I'm like, you're never gonna believe what he said. So it's
Right.
really, really cool that I got to see that come a little bit full circle
Yeah.
after that many years.
Yep. That is
Yeah.
really, really neat. Painful and neat, but there's so much we just don't see. We don't see all the pieces that are playing
We
around
are
us.
not in
We see so
charge.
little, right?
No,
We are not in charge.
I don't wanna
Ugh.
be either.
No, I don't wanna be no,
No, no,
don't
no.
put me in charge. This would not be good. But please bless me with little glimpses and being around
Man.
people that can I call it a little sprinkling. Please sprinkle some things into my life, and then hopefully I can pick some of those up,
Well, and you know what I love about
you
what you
know?
just said? is that if we go into every interaction with that intention, like, what can I learn? How can I serve and what can I learn? We're going to.
Mhm.
There's going to be something always.
Yes. Well, it will happen, like, well, because we talk with my kids all the time, it's the same situation, person A, person B, we're here, but, like, how we approach
Mhm.
it, what we look for, like,
Mhm.
this is all the stuff that you
Yeah.
totally believe, like, we those things you'll find, and I've thought about that as we're making some big decisions with our business, we're making, like, really a lot of risky things, like, like, it's uncomfortable to be in growth mode, and we are, but I've many times come back to the thought of, "You know what? We're trying all these crazy things, and we know, I think they're gonna work, but we'll see if they work, but in the meantime, whether they work or not, we're gonna sprinkle a
I
lot of
love
good.
them.
We're gonna do a lot of good along the way, and then if our grand plans don't pan out, you know what? It's okay. We will have left a pathway of good things, and then maybe our path goes somewhere else we didn't think it was gonna go. So if right now we can be
Mhm.
doing good things while we're reaching for these other
And you're
things,
learning
right? Like,
so much
let
along
there
the
be at least a little
way,
path.
and everything you learn, you can
Yes.
share. So
That's like a people say, "How's it going?" It's like, "Oh, we're learning. Oh, we're learning so much." Right? We're learning.
I know, but without it being uncomfortable, you're not gonna grow, and if that's your goal, then get it.
And get over it. It's not about you.
Not
I
about you,
feel
Kristy.
that's like this is yeah, your dad, like, his type of teaching is not the way that it is common to learn today. You know
No,
what I mean? Like that.
absolutely not. No.
No, right? That's but maybe a little good for us. This is one of those lessons I used to actually always in my prayers say, I'd be like, "God, please help me to humble myself." Like, I don't wanna have to, like, have lessons where you humble me. Help me to humble myself. And this is another one, like, help me to learn through Donna's lesson here so that I don't have to have that, but help me just to learn what she just learned and then and adopt that without me having to be the one. Oh,
Yeah, but I do have to tell you also,
okay,
I would
well,
come home from school from high school, and he was in his 70s because he was 50 when I was born. We
okay.
would sit on the couch, hold hands, and watch Days of Our Lives, and we'd watch match together at night. I'd
Oh
lay
my
on
gosh.
his he'd scratch my back before I went to bed at night. Like, he was also very kind and gentle, but woof, did he wanna make sure that I was not a wussy.
No, that's a mentor. You're right, that is teaching. That is
Yeah.
actual teaching. Whew. Okay, on Days of Our Lives. Okay, Donna, I I'm gonna go find the book, and I look forward to the other ones coming out. I'll read all the ones that you've written, and then for this last little section, just wanna turn the time over to you for just, like, a minute or 2, and if you just wanna tell us maybe you can reaffirm where we can find the book, and also if you wanna tell us a little about what you're doing with Old Republic, feel free. Any little message that you wanna share with us for this last couple minutes, we'd love to hear it.
Okay, so the book series is called The Book of Mentors, and it's on Amazon. The first one's on Amazon so far. Let's see. Edit.
Go ahead. We'll go find it.
I am a sales representative for Old Republic Title. This is my 29th year in the business, and I absolutely love my job because I love people. And one of my most favorite things about what I do is just having the opportunity to be allowed into real estate agents and loan officers' lives and be able to watch them grow their business, watch them grow personally and
Mhm.
professionally. I love it. Every other Monday morning, I do a Monday morning mindset Zoom. I don't know if you know this. It's on Zoom. It's from 9:30 to 10 every other Monday morning. And I just talk about some aspect of mindset. People pop on, they can either be on video, not be on video, listen, participate. I just put it out there.
I could pop
It's
onto
every
this
other
every
Monday.
Monday?
So,
Every other
I
Monday.
have a Facebook
Okay.
group. I'll usually post on a Sunday night. This is what we're going to talk about. And it's just some aspect of mindset because I feel like it is critical to everything. I feel like you having a morning routine and setting yourself up first thing in the morning because none of us know what kind of
Yeah.
days we're going to have. We never know what kind of
Mhm.
news we're going to get that might be devastating. We don't know what's going to ever happen. So I feel like if we protect some kind of routine that works for us, that puts us in the best ability or the best mindset, the best frame of mind, we're gonna better handle anything that comes our way, like, we don't know.
What what's the
Oh,
Facebook
it's
group
Monday
called?
morning
I'll go
mindset.
look for it.
Yeah, I'll send you
Monday
an
morning
invite,
mindset.
and
Okay,
then
I'm
if
gonna
you
go look
want
for it.
yeah, just send
Oh,
me
would
I'll
you
send you an
please?
invite, yes.
Okay.
It's yeah, so
Please send me an invite.
other than that, I got certified last year, started in Jet with Jay Shetty's coach from January to October, over 200 hours, and I got licensed as a sales mindset coach, which is awesome. I have
Yay.
started working on my website. I don't have it all put together out there, but I did get the opportunity to coach some pretty incredible people from all over the world, which was fun. But more than anything, I think I protect your mindset. It's everything. My husband's been in law enforcement for 30 years, and law enforcement and military people, they put on their armors, they learn how to use their weapons. And why this is like the most important thing we've got is our brain and our minds. And why don't we do the same? So I think that's critical.
I love it. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you.
today. And I do just adore you. And I've learned already. And I appreciate you. And thank you to all of our listeners for joining. And we encourage you to go find Donna's book. And you can learn even more from her. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to an episode of Shh, Tell Me Everything. This podcast is proudly hosted by PackTax and produced by Techne Innovations. We drop new episodes 4 times a month, so be sure to subscribe and never miss out. See you next time, and keep those secrets coming.